Go ahead and call this council work session to order. It's Wednesday, March 15th. The time is 2 p.m. It is now time for visitor comment. Visitor comment is a period that is essential part of local government meetings. Each person has 3 minutes to speak. The city council take all input into consideration. However, in observance of Oregon open meeting laws, there is no time for dialogue, but rather a time to listen to you. Our administrator and our city recorder are taking notes if needed. Thank you for participating in visitor comments. So we'll open up visitor comments.
Before the clock starts, by the way, I'd like to give answers that I've gotten from the city and questions I've asked before. I had a conversation with John Walsh about, and the two questions were,
Can you state your name for the record, please?
my name for the record is Stephen Topaz, and the clock is running, which it shouldn't be right now.
You're up here for visitor comments.
The answer to the questions that I asked, and these are city questions, not Topaz's, was how was the progress on the vessel that the Coast Guard was testing, and that was done, he said. Everything was okay. The next question I asked John was why was not the building down at the mill used for the police station? That was also looked into, and there are a number of physical reasons why that wasn't handled. That answer was good. Questions I asked about the sewer lines in the business in the west side was answered by Sharon. And I have the answers here. I'll give that to you, Captain. Now you can start the clock. On the agenda, last time there was no notification of the sewer plant tour, where there was a sewer plant tour. Patrick was there. In the newspaper, the sewer plant tour was described as a definition and explanation for repurposing the lagoon, which it was not. Crystal ought to be asked to have the newspaper correct the fact that the meeting was not publicly noted in the agenda, and the fact that it was how the sewer plant worked. I have asked questions before, more change subjects, on how the litigation of the mill grow problem is going. And I'll give you this, it has been delayed again, another 30 days. And here is a list of all the times it's been delayed. The delay started in 2021, and we're now at 2023. So litigation of Cascade, Boise is still ongoing. The next question that I had was on that ought to be that. The business of the Coast Guard. The Coast Guard was inquired into by myself, and the boat has been tested. Is their report. It has not, the stabilization test data has not been reviewed yet, and there are a number of other questions that have to be answered before it's given okay to be moved. That hasn't been done yet. I have been told when I was on council that the vessel was in Portland. I asked that a number of times. The council was told a number of times it was in Portland. That was in 2022. It is still in Florida, 2023. We have not gotten the truth about that. We have not gotten the truth about the condition of the vessel and its death. I think somebody ought to check on that. The other thing that should be checked on is there ought to be a public statement, public information on the litigation and the conditions of the legal problems with Boise Cascade and the city of St. Helens on the Grove property. All that is that. This is all the information. Kathy, I thank you. I would like finally real information. And everything I told you, by the way, public information can be gotten. Thank you.
Any other comments? You don't mind, Kathy? Go ahead and go on to our first item on the agenda, which is semi-annual report from Senior Center, Justin Watson, our executive director, and Amy, after you senior.
Awesome. Thank you. Hello, City Mayor. Hi, how are you? Good to see you again. City Council, good to meet all your new faces, and City Administration. Thanks for having me. Today, I'm Justin Watson. I'm Justin Watson. I'm the director of the St. Helens Senior Center. I have with me today Amy Pritchett. She's the new activities coordinator down at the St. Helens Senior Center. So without further ado, our second slide has a video. So just watch that about what we do at the center.
I think you have to be in PowerPoint mode.
Can you click it?
Just a second, it's up here on this, on my screen.
See.
Hi there. Thank you for visiting us here at the St. Helens Senior Centre. We are proud to have you stop by. The St. Helens Centre is a small non-profit
To the right.
nutrition and pleasure program. Now, there's a parent onto the program in contracts held with the community until the state of Oregon through DHS. The program is also on both congregations. And home with the most vulnerable people who become disabled adults who cannot prepare meals for themselves. We provide meals to seniors both in person or to those homebound seniors, aged 60 and older or their spouses, or eligible children living with seniors. These hot and ready-to-consume home-cooked style meals are in some cases the only meals individuals may get that day. We do this work through the cities of St. Helens, Caboose, Warren, Columbia City, and Deer Island, Oregon, and serve over 500 individuals every year. We produced over 45,000 hot and nutritious meals in 2022 and are on track to producing over 52,000 meals this year in 2023 as the need increases. The Home Delivered Meals and Congregate Meals program is a daily nutrition and socialization program. The program is aimed at promoting better health among the homebound adults and all the segments of the population. The program's meals provide complete nutrition and help to keep individuals well in their home, but also reducing the chances of senior institutionalizations. The program provides social contact through meal delivery or served by volunteers for a person who may otherwise be homebound and are often socially isolated. The program offers supportive socialization activities such as billiards, game nights, crafting, bingo, puzzle making, a full library, a weekly with band, and more. As you can see, this program and the work that we do is extremely important to the vital needs of seniors who cannot necessarily provide for themselves. All ages are welcome to become a member today. Give back and support your local community, local neighborhood senior citizens, and be a part of something bigger.
Thank you. So we can go to the next slide when that's back up, but we do have a number of groups and organizations that utilize the space at the Senior Center. So we have the VFW Auxiliary, Columbia County Business Leaders Networks. The Red Cross Blood Drive holds a number of reoccurring blood drives throughout the year. We have a newly started support group through the Parkinson's Resource of Oregon, and that's with Beth Moffitt and Understanding My Medicare. So that'll be every other month on the gym floor. And then we have a number of Medicare representatives that meet their client throughout the year, their clients. So that sparks Schultz Financial scheduling reoccurring meetings and classes for Medicare and Social Security at the center throughout the year until Medicare is back live again. So seniors are educated on what they're seeing when October comes and everyone's hounding them to write new Medicare plans. Schultz Financial was also the first platinum sponsor of the Senior Center for 2022. Will be also the this year's location for the county's Living Well with Diabetes course. That's a 6-week course. It's provided through the state of Oregon, and it's coming down through Community Action Team locally here. So that'll be at our center March 23rd through April 27th. And we can go to the next slide. We have a number of other vendors, as I said, but ARP, they're a very strong partner of ours. They come in and right now they're preparing taxes for free for a number of residents of St. Helens, and we're actually fully booked on that. But this Gap Food Senior Center is taking appointments and they're working with them as well. But ARP also comes in and does safe driving courses to get seniors some breaks on their insurances. Next slide. So we have billiards Mondays and Wednesdays at 8 a.m. exercise, Monday, Wednesday, Fridays at 9 a.m. computer classes Wednesdays at 10. And thanks to Enrose donated us 20 tablets. So our computer instructor is instructing on how to get connected to those tablets, and then folks are going to actually be able to check them out of our library and take them home. And we just want to make sure they can connect to the internet, because otherwise, what will you do with it, at home without internet? So we're training those courses, and Amy has put together a sign-off sheet for our computers person. Once they've been trained, he's going to sign it off, and then we can know to loan those out. We also have yoga at 4 p.m. on Wednesdays. Monday has Pinochle at 6 p.m. Tai Chi Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Square dancing Sundays at 6 p.m. Line dancing Fridays after lunch at 1:15. And we have craft hour Monday and Wednesdays at 10. And we actually need help with a lot more crafters, because we just got into a partnership with the sheriff's department. So we'll be repairing the jumpsuits for the resident inmates. And then giving those back. And they've got probably 35 bags right now. So we started with 7. We're going to get those bags caught up, and then we're going to keep it streamlined. So basically every time they have jumpsuits and socks or shirts or things that are torn, they'll drop them off. Our seniors and ourselves will repair them, and then they'll pick them back up. And the center does act as a daytime cooling shelter and or warming shelter. It depends on the weather. The building maintenance is going very well. As you learned last time, I'm pretty maintenance inclined, so I tend to take care of things before they go beyond the point of repair. One thing that would be nice to have is the basement completed, even in a basic sense, so that we can get a little bit more storage out of the space. It's just really hard to have storage there. So I've been told it was part of the plans in 2010 when they did the community block grant, but it just ran out of funds. So just something there. Property border has been cleaned up by Public Works. Thank you guys. It's looking really good as the grass is starting to grow in. And we have had some issues with the houseless loitering. So we're going to be installing some cameras in the back of the property, but I'm doing a pretty good job keeping that at bay, keeping bikes and tents and trash and things that we're finding. I do a daily property inspection. So, being part of that park there is just kind of a little bit open. So we'll do what we need to do to make sure that the asset stays protected. The hope is to expand with the food bank's garden by complementing it with another garden in our little area in the back there. And we would also like to put out some outdoor seating off the back entrance, off the dining room, with maybe a canopy so seniors can come in and out this summer. And some thoughts. Next slide. And so the most recent extensive building use was the Shoestring Players Actors Guild. They performed a theater show for 5 nights, and they were able to practice for a week as well in the center. So this does lend to the center and subsequently the community of St. Helens producing a community asset that inspires the use of the arts and the social endeavors in our community. So a number of other community residents, they also do use our building use policy that we have through you folks. So we are ramping up more advertising our activities. We've got a great new young and energetic activities coordinator. So there's out there just constantly talking with folks and getting things done and advertising. We are looking at changing the agreement to this way we would avoid raising the hourly cost. And so it's $75 an hour right now with a $150 deposit, and that's really it. There's no administration fee or any fee for the water used or for the electricity use, or even for the staff member that has to come in and log up and then leave and check the person out. So, something that Buccini Hall does is they give a percentage of a refundable deposit. So we're looking at a $300 deposit with a 70% refundable deposit. And so that will cover all of those admin costs. So as we continue to grow the building, as we're looking at using the building in more consistent and unique ways. Next slide. We work with a number of partners throughout the community, such as the South Columbia Chamber of Commerce, Inroads Credit Union, Grocery Outlet St. Helens and Scat Boost, the Food Bank, Broadleaf Arbor, the St. Helens Rec Center, Avamere, Meadow Park Living, and so many more partners. Currently, we do have at the center over 200 members, and we are still attempting to bridge that gap with the families. And we really think working with the rec center and with Broadleaf Arbor is going to help bridge that gap. That's going to ultimately raise memberships at the senior center, but it's also going to get the center involved at the senior level, so we can promote intergenerational communities. We're also looking into a lifetime membership concept. So that way folks can just have their membership and then donate to the center and their regular capacity. We do have our event calendar finalized. Our block party is going to be July 1st, and we're looking to do that bigger and better than last year. So look for those advertisements. We have a number of what I've coined to be micro fundraisers. So we have a luncheon coming up, and we have one on Friday, St. Patrick's Day luncheon. So that's going to be at noon. Be there for that. But we also will be scheduling we'll have scheduled a number of bazaars. We'll have a tea party this year with Mother's Day. We'll have a Father's Day breakfast and so much more. So look for those. And all of these micro events are going to ultimately lead up to our large end of the year fundraiser, which is planned to be a black tie dinner and auction event. The next slide. So lunches are being served in the building. Reservations are not needed. We do like for you to let us know if you plan to come so we can make the proper amounts of food so we can avoid waste. Lunch is served to any person at any interval between 11 and 12:30. That's a new change that I made, and it seems to work out a lot better. On Fridays, however, we still do serve right at 12. So we serve over 180 seniors throughout South Columbia County. There is a need for more volunteer drivers, even if it's just once a week, once a month, once every other week. So there, for folks that are 55 and older, we do work with United Way of Columbia County. So there is a 25-cent mileage reimbursement round trip. So from your home, the whole route, and then back home. The SNAP program is going strong. We are making steps to further fortify around it, and such as digitalization. So we're hoping to come up with a digital platform. So as soon as the meal is delivered, the driver can take a picture of it, and it's logged immediately. And that'll help us better when reporting to community action team and or the state. So nonetheless, with the SNAP program, there is expenses month over month, but that is the specific program that gets to our overall mission as a senior center. And also I'd like to say the mission of the city that they have when it comes to supporting local senior citizens. So as I said, we have a new building activities coordinator, Amy Pritchett. Would you like to introduce yourself a little bit?
Hi, I'm Amy Pritchett. New to the team. I'm real glad to be here. I did for some changes, lots to come. Still adjusting. Yeah, I'm happy to be here. Nice to meet you guys.
Yeah. So Amy's a local resident. She's lived here all of her life. She knows folks, got connections. She understands the concept of what we're trying to do. So we really think that she's going to be an asset to us. And then we did just want to call out Columbia County Search and Rescue. They came out when the snow surprised us, and we had 4 routes we couldn't cover, and they just made a call, and folks just showed up, and everyone was fed that day, no problem. So thank you guys for that. The kitchen is in good repair. Trotter Morrison is a phenomenal contractor to use because they really know the building. They came in and they helped thwart a really big cost that we thought we would have. So that was awesome. So we'll see how that goes. We were awarded that congregate infrastructure upgrade grant
Justin, can you speak to the partnership with the Broadleaf Harbor? That piqued my interest in that.
Yeah, so the senior center is really going to be just working with Engage. Engage is the program lead over there. They're the people that are going to be the program managers. So they're not Guardian. Guardian is different. And so we are just there to bridge the gap. It's really an up and coming thing. It's a cohort with community action team, KCMH, ourselves, the Latino network, the food bank, CCOPC. So there's a number of people. So we're meeting monthly. We're getting together to see where we can support that coming in. We have the first 24 families moving in March 29th. The first 24 families, and there's about 38 children that'll be coming in there. So the school board is on board and they are ready and they're happy and they're excited. So we're looking at all types of venues because there's going to be a grant coming out in the school district where they can help organizations that want a program for after school program or summer program that goes into college or summer program for kids coming from middle school to high school. And so if Broadleaf Arbor and or ourselves can do that, the school district will help out there. We look to bring our meals program there possibly 2 times a week to serve the seniors where they're at. And so we're hoping also we can lower some of our routes by having that go in there. And with these 24 homes coming in, 3 of them are from out of St. Helens. And maybe 2 of them are from Scappoose. They just let us know yesterday that all of the rest of them are from St. Helens. So
It's great.
Oh. Great, that's what was our hope on broadleaf. So 45 1,000 meals delivered last year. That's pretty impressive. And then I wanted to ask you about the basement. What's needed to be done down there? You kind of no maintenance, building maintenance, so it's unfinished. I'm sure it's
So-
framed.
It's framed, it's got a ton of dirt in there, so the dirt would just seem to be. Tunneled out a bit and then some sheet rock walls in the floor. And maybe some lighting, that would be basically it.
Couple 3-4 yard concrete.
Yes.
Get the mud out, concrete, and then sheet rock.
Sheet rock,
And it'll be a good storage.
yeah,
Oh, you're looking for storage for it.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Try good storage, yeah.
yes. So
Okay.
that would be phenomenal.
So we'll look into it. We're public works liaison, so.
Yeah.
Well, I brought Avamere in there recently and boy, did they have the best time ever. And they're coming back.
Oh.
So they're not gonna stop now, but they loved it and they had a great time. So I was super impressed. You know, I came back out here and shouted out to you because I was just really impressed. I had no idea about all the things that were going on there and how well put together it was and just a well-oiled machine. Just things are running and you're everywhere and you're doing things and you have people at every station and it was a beautiful sight to see. So
Thank you.
it feels good to know that like something that we've invested money and time into for the community is being so well taken care of. So thank you for doing that.
Absolutely, appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm just amazed at the amount of volunteerism that happens there and I went to their appreciation banquet. And yeah, it's a nice layout there at the theater center, you know, the billiard room down the hall and to the right and yeah, so. And you're doing a fabulous job carrying the torch and doing a bunch of little things and you know, putting out feelers, see. That's what we have to do.
See what works.
Yeah, that's what we have to do, so.
Thank you. Yeah, appreciate it.
The Navy, glad to see you in this position. I know you know a lot of locals, so, and you are very active. I've known you for a few years, so welcome to that position. Yeah. Yeah. Any other questions? All right.
All right, yes. No worries, thank you guys. Have a great day.
Okay, our next item on the agenda, review supplemental fiscal year 2022-2023 budget report changes, John Ellis.
When I seen his name on here again, I was like, what, he was just here last meeting.
He wanted to put that in front of me, so.
Oh.
he said, yeah,
Did miss quite a,
yeah,
you know,
This,
Yeah.
so I could get
Well-
it up.
Well, I will be very brief, believe it or not. Patrick's putting money on that. I take a piece of action. Yeah. Well, you heard all the adjustments we have proposed and so on, and it's all gonna be wrapped up it's all wrapped up and presented in tonight's public hearing, and then when you discuss the resolution that will be following after the public works. But we made a couple of adjustments in that. One is on the community development project side, we decided, you know, we weren't gonna reflect all the money that we get from Business Oregon, you know, the loan. Yeah, so, and we weren't gonna increase the capital because they're not gonna spend the capital they have on budget now. So we just, you know, and then it will be reflected in next year's budget. So, but, so that reduced, you know, like 11 million. Yeah, well, you know, I didn't want too big a number and not, you know, people go, oh, 84 million is not enough for your budget, you're gonna make it over 100. No, I didn't want to do that, so. And then the police department had identified a number of facility improvements they need to make in order to accommodate well, I don't know, but to accommodate
The current situation.
right
So, like-
officers and making sure that there's equal and, you know, facilities, you know, and so forth. So that's a package there, and hopefully they'll be way under because they'll be getting the furniture and equipment from from the state site, so which is cheaper, or free, one or the other, so. So, but that would reduce it quite a bit, but and there's a memo in there explaining what they, and then on the technology division where we also increased it by another 40,000. Recently we found out that there's multi-year contract that we have. You know, we pay 1 year, it covers 3 years. Now it's coming back. Oh, now you have to, you want to renew it. And it's for security of our infrastructure, and it's very important. So, we got one of those invoices in, we anticipate maybe 1 or 2 more coming in. So we just want to reflect the budget accordingly, so we can cover that. We will have a more distilled version of that when we present the book. Well, when Gloria presents the budget to you.
Yeah.
But, those are the changes. If you want to know what impact it has, if you go like to the first attachment, page 1 of 7, it shows you that if you look at the change in contingency, that it's still positive change, meaning that the fund is based on what we're requesting in appropriations and so forth, that it will be still greater than what we anticipate. Of course, there's a downward pressure on revenue, so we'll be, working on that, but then, there's a number of different things, so it's positive and negative, and it's hopefully all washes out and you end up with larger fund balance than anticipated for that was in the budget. So, and then on the if you wanted to see the impact on reducing the community development, that's on page 2 of the attachment, so it illustrates how it impacts it. So still both positive for now. So that's it, and it's wrapped up into the appropriation that we're requesting adoption through resolution tonight. So and it's really easy to make changes at last minute if you guys need to make other changes. It's not,
Yep.
That's it.
Yep, well, basically the appropriation process again, if we need to make changes.
Right, but
Yeah,
but we can make it easy enough to make changes before you adopt a resolution too.
yes.
So anyway,
Are you going through the PowerPoint?
what?
Are you gonna go through the PowerPoint? Is that for the hearing?
That's for the hearing.
Oh.
I'm not doing it. No, I'm sorry. That's tonight. That's and it's hopefully it's under 15 minutes. And then open the public. Go ahead.
I did have 2 clarifying questions. This is my clarification regarding the tourism. So on attachment.
Okay.
Where it speaks of to event revenue, where the main event change $170,000. Is to know due to new contract. Much of the revenue due to event contractor. Except for donations and sponsors that recorded with us and subsequently netted with the event contract. And so I just wanted may clarify too with Council President Pilkin and Mayor Scholl. When we entered into the new contractor agreement, and the reason I'm wanting this clarification is make sure that my recollection is correct, or if it's not correct, that it's changed. That one of the purposes of the contract was to streamline revenue, and with the understanding that even though our contract may be responsible for receiving payables, etc., that there was a system that basically everything came through the city so that we would have record of that, and that it would then be returned to the contractor as needed to cover things. So when I voted to the new contract, that was my understanding, because I think we had a system where there was a lot of question about just who's paying for what and what can we know and what can't we know. So I'm just asking Mayor Scholl and Hilton what your understanding was of that. So I get your understanding. We voted on that, what you understood it to be. arrangement. So my understanding was basically, practically everything was going to be set up and go through and even capped, so the cash stuff is gonna be coming through the city regardless of how it was brought in, if it was an official Halloween town. And John, I'm sure you'll comment on it too, but I would like to hear the councilman to come through and then go out so that there would be kind of like a single stream that we could easily.
Yeah, that is my understanding also, was that it's supposed to be coming through city bank accounts. We're supposed to be changing things from less cash to paying online, which was supposed to come through city bank account. That was my understanding too. So I'm assuming that that's happening. Are you seeing a lot of cash in tourism, or is it?
It's not, if it came through the city, then it'd be reflected in the budget.
Yes.
And the budget was built the year before with everything flowing through. The budget built this year was kind of a quasi, and it obviously didn't reflect the activity that really occurred. But next year's budget, right now, it will, the revenues, if we collect it, all right, will be turned over to the contractor that covers the events. We will just see basically 3 or 4 lines in revenues next year's budget. You will see the tourism dollars, TOT tax. You will see the gate funds for the event, primary Halloween, the 10%, which will be about 100,000. You will see reimbursement for the Masonic building, which is about 74,000. And then and so that's the revenue streams you'll see. And then on the expenditure side, you'll see the contract payment to the contractor for, through the year for 120,000. And you will see the payments to the Masonic building. And then you'll see payments for the 4th of July event for the fireworks themselves. All right, and then you will probably have about 100,000 in another line that you can designate as a reimbursement to the general fund or reimbursement to Public Works for the works they done, or another event, or however that's separate, that's just done by the city. So that's when I read all through it and so on and discussed it with John, so on, that was the basic intent for this year. Well, it didn't quite match up to the way they had it all appropriated and budgeted. And it didn't quite, because there was a lot that still came in and out, so it kind of doubled up some things. So, it did not reflect, but next year's budget will reflect that. Now, if we receive funds next year that go to the event, it won't hit as a revenue. It will show up in a liability account because we're going to cut it back. So, because we don't want it to double up again. So we'll set up as a liability that we have to pay it out, and then we pay it out. On the expenditure side, we pay in expenditures that because we're not supposed to accept any bills for any of the events, they all go directly to the contractor. If we do, we end up having to pay some, that goes into that account also to shore up the overdraw.
Liability account.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah,
so we'll see a certain set of monies, but there'll be a liability with the extra monies.
Right, and it won't be running through the tourism
Budget.
whole on the based on budget appropriations and authorities associated with that. So
That
and
makes sense. It won't show every dollar reflected in the budget. It will, but it won't, because there'll be that one.
right, because it's so now on that note, there is a account that she maintains that the city's co-on or something, and that that will be audited on an annual basis to make sure everything shores up.
That's the liability account?
No, that would be the whole event,
Oh.
the contractor's bank account. So that's the way I understand it. That's where we're proceeding, that's where we're developing
We
the.
have the ability to audit though, if we need to be.
Well, I would advise that you do it on an annual basis.
That was the entire set process and making sure checks and balances.
Yeah.
That's what I was following. Exactly what he was saying is what I was following when we approved this contract, because we couldn't micromanage every little aspect, because otherwise she becomes a city employee. We were told to not
Yes, I understand that, and I understand that's why we entered into this new
Yeah.
contract, so that we didn't have that in terms of managing, but it was still with the money. Do we recall when we finally signed the contract? Was it after we adopted the budget? Was it in? When did we sign the contract?
I have it in a folder there, but
I don't know. Okay,
I can respond to you in an email.
Yeah, we can do that. Okay, I mean, my main concern is with accountability. I still think again, the way I interpret things, of course, I appreciate the feedback. But I am also think, yeah, that we need to. Okay, so as far as the budget appropriations, I don't have any other questions. The other questions I have, I can deal
It's
with.
important for me that we adhere to the changes that we made on that contract and follow up with that in our financial spectrum also, but I know that we went through some changes since that contract was changed, so I just want to make sure we don't drop the ball on, you know, all those changes that we made to the contract were for a reason, so I just want to make sure that we implement those, but that's not for you. That's for
Right,
me.
well, I believe I'll probably be doing the audit in April on the books. So that John expressed the interest that I do that portion before I fade away. So,
Thank you.
I would characterize this as we're getting there. It was, a little bit sloppy at first. We're kind of understanding roles, and then, the bills that come in that get processed and paid that maybe shouldn't have been paid by the contractor, and that happened, and we're just trying to. If you look at the expenditures over monthly, it gets better and better each month, and
Well, as long as it can all be accounted for, and and that we have an audit, and it can all be audited for, that's my bottom line. But then again, as far as the adjustment of the budget, I think that's another matter. My answer for my questions about this being part of the supplemental budget are answered.
And I'm grateful for you explaining to us what it's gonna look like in the future, because I think that will make it so when we're reading it, we can see exactly how,
right, and then maybe we'll include, talk with Gloria, include in the quarterly report, how much is floating in that liability account.
Yeah, that
So
would be.
that you get a, Yeah,
Okay.
so,
He starts tomorrow.
I think she started today.
it starts tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
It said the 15th on Facebook.
Well,
It did.
I happened to renew my business license yesterday, and I got the inside info that she starts tomorrow. So,
Place.
I do. I don't do anything with it, but I do have a license. I am registered to do business for educational services. That's all is a total loss, what I pay to the state.
He's still.
And what I pay to the city, and what I pay for my bank fees. I haven't made that.
I can attest to that too, 7% of anything I make off this contract goes to the feds or the state.
Oh my gosh.
Because, you got the 15.3% employment, but anybody that does business knows that. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, so, okay.
I lost the wager, John.
Oh.
You're out of here before the
You-
time.
A whole bunch
And
of.
I'm the one who.
Well, I have tonight.
So,
The
yeah,
public you gotta talk to.
okay, thank you.
It seems like it'll help us out in the future. So,
Related to tonight in the budget, there's two resolutions that are related to finance. One's the supplemental budget, one's the transfer.
appreciate.
Yeah,
And the reason there's two is because one of them requires a public hearing, and that's what's noticed,
right.
and the other one does not, so.
The one requiring the public hearing is a supplemental.
Yeah.
is a supplemental.
But we do mention in the supplemental announcement in the paper, we went on an extra step and added that also other funds will be appropriations for other funds will be made. That doesn't require the process of a supplemental budget, so,
Nice.
so they,
Just cover, yep.
okay,
Transparency.
yeah.
Hey, if I were mayor contest, it's the next item. Lot of participants, wow. You guys think all them videos and all them posters?
Very colorful and well thought out. You can tell they worked really hard on them.
Yes. So we received 12 posters from fourth, fifth graders. We received 2 essays. We received 2 essays, 6th to 8th grade. And we received 23 digital presentations, 9th through 12th grade. A total of 42 participants. If I were mayor contest. Are we gonna do the announcements now or later tonight?
Tonight. Hopefully most of the students and their families will be here, the ones that are winners. Everyone else was encouraged to zoom in because it was just, that was gonna overwhelm this room.
You know, shout out to Mr. Musin. Wow, I think he did a whole class. That was one of the, must have been a project on their, syllabus.
It was, yes, he gave actually, talked to Mr. Amos about it, and he apparently put it as on a Monday and it was due Friday. So, I was amazed at the potholes, you know.
So
I mean,
is Furlock our street or?
no, it's not.
Okay, so, okay.
So I.
I didn't think it was.
We should put together a PowerPoint presentation with their testimony. And show them how the process works and maybe go over to the county and ask them to start thinking about budgeting because there is, you know, the high school's having a bunch of work done there. At least, first and foremost, at least fill the potholes because it doesn't cost that much. The students were right when they did their homework on that. It was like $30 or $40 per pothole for a public works crew to come in and put a little asphalt and tamp it in. But I think even a step further would not be sidewalks probably, but even if they could asphalt those back streets, will be a nice accent to a brand new high school. So, you know, and we know how budget works. Now would be the time to start talking to them about budgeting. You know, asphalt's not as expensive as curbs and all that. We're not asking them to make it up to a city standard, but we're saying, hey, help this county road a little bit more.
That
You know,
students
our
travel.
students, yeah. Yeah, deserve.
We should send them to the commissioners meeting for some public comment, but it was, no, really great to see the interests. And I think one of my criteria for when I did vote was whether or not it was a city thing or, you know, not city, but I saw, but it was, so I do think that's always something to continue to work on in just our civics. And I would imagine this goes true for a lot of adults, it's just, you know, what are we responsible for the city, what's the county responsible, what's the state, what are the federal government, and then but it's hard to separate that when that road and the county is part of it, that it's associated with the city. And so then it's important. I was glad to hear the students raise that because yeah, this is an important issue. And another thing that really impressed me was the hearing number of students, you know, that they're not just waiting to get out of high school so they can leave Dodge City. They believe in St. Helens, want to have a good future, and want this to be a livable place where they can live in the future of their families. And so they were talking about some of the economic development possibilities. So yeah, it was very heartening to see that. See all that.
Maybe we can make a YouTube video that they could watch that talks about all the different things that cities do and what we don't do.
Volunteering? Did you volunteering?
I mean, the whole council.
She was council president.
Roads.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
One of the videos cracked me up. They're talking about the potholes and they started naming the roads and they're like, Pittsburgh, Sykes.
Yeah.
Like county. I was in my head doing that. I was like, you know, they're right. That was probably, I think, the second or third one I had watched about potholes.
Sure.
But that individual took it a step further and started naming just not Furlock Park. Yeah.
My across the street neighbor works for the road department and I know that, I mean, I know they work hard, so I mean, I understand that our county roads people are working hard too and have limited resources, but yeah, so we love the county too.
We have the top 6 videos queued up if that's something you want to watch.
Sure.
The top 6.
There's about 14 minutes.
So,
Uh,
well, you're right.
I'm gonna go get another cookie.
I don't know, maybe we should wait.
And let John get his report in and then.
Yeah,
get into it.
yeah, cause we. Yeah, let's do John's report.
Is that what your intent was with the review, was to show the?
Are you gonna show it tonight?
There's,
We can, but whatever you guys prefer.
since you guys have already seen it,
Yeah.
we could do it tonight where everybody can.
Do we need to eliminate it down to winners yet, or is that? I
No,
thought
that
we
was
were-
done. Yeah, we have
Oh,
the first and second.
I have the results right here in my hand. You'd like to see.
Okay. I'm gonna wait.
And yeah, but I don't know which is which, only the girls know. On some of them, because not all the names are on the posters or. Mhm. Yep. Mm-hmm,
mhm.
yep.
You ready for me?
Yeah. So that's what
Look at this, look at
It
this.
seems snortly,
it is early.
I had to run out because it was my report, usually shows up in my Outlook and it wasn't there for some reason. Then I came back and I, I'll print it, but it's still on my computer, it's not here. One of the themes about the project, I really go into the videos and posting the posters is, you know, first of all, they don't understand the boundaries for sure, but the sense of community, and I love the downtown, I love the downtown, I heard that, you know, I love the waterfront, love what they're doing on the waterfront, and just kind of painted a picture of community, hope and pride, and that's the next generation, that's right, we're not to do that, and that's really, you know, it's resonated really positive with me to hear that, and I just maybe some needed to find that there to really have much interest in there, because we had the joint dinner, I was talking to the people in the back there that were here, and these let in that was yeah.
Can we give Mr. Busen an award or something? Seriously, that's awesome that he thinks it's important that kids are involved in local government. That's a really.
That's decades, that's what he's
Teacher to
doing.
Yeah.
The civics.
The city council when I was in his class, so.
Need to give him some recognition. I think.
Dividends.
Well, let's think about
So we talked a little bit about the budget, that's kind of cleaning up last year's, the auditors are still finishing. As we've been spending a lot of times with all the department heads going through their budgets with them. John and I both have kind of queuing things up for the incoming budget. And that's consumed a tremendous amount of time, but it's all good and it's good for departments to understand their budget and how we're all on the same team and working together towards, delivering services. And that'll be ongoing. The finance director will be here tomorrow. We're gonna welcome her on board, which should be great. And I hope she'd be here for this first meeting, but the logistics didn't work out there. So that's good. You should have, those of you that have been on council last year, your statement of economic interest forms are out and should be
Already did mine this morning.
completed at some time.
I just got mine in the email form. I think you updated us on that, but I got mine.
The email came today.
It sneaks up on you if you don't do the form, and to new counselors, you'll have to keep track of any kind of economic spending or disclose, relationships and different kinds of things.
Yes, it gives you a whole bunch of questions, but I failed to meet the deadline one time and had to pay with my credit card. Just so you know.
I know what it We did it
They
right.
actually charge you.
Part of that budget process is the urban renewal budget, so we'll be weaving that into the regular budget process with there's in the years past, we've always done them simultaneously, just because it's a very simple budget, so. It's getting to a point where it has enough revenue in it that it's significant, but we're not planning to spend it yet. It's really the expenditures. Just carrying over the contingency.
Sure. Go back to our audit, can we file extensions?
It's,
I mean, that's just normally what I do, so.
we could, but see, we like to,
Destination.
we like to start the new year knowing what we had last year,
No,
so.
not this. I traded for the ethics commission audit. It's just a joke. all right? Not very funny.
Serious about it. That's good.
Dawn, when you're talking about the budget committee, I know we have positions that are open. Are we gonna wait to fill those before we?
Do we have 2 or 3?
I was just.
Two
thinking
openings,
about that.
3 applicants.
I've seen that, but are we gonna fill that before we do budget or after?
That is something to talk about. The resolution that talks about that has the mayor setting a mayor and council
An interview subcommittee.
interview subcommittee, right? Where you select those people. It is pretty timely and sensitive that we need to get.
No, we could do it via Zoom if it would be easier for everybody, and I think it would be. We just do the interviews Zoom wise. Or in person.
I mean, that's fine with me. My question was just that, is it, we need to get those filled before we,
Yes.
okay, that's what I was.
Yeah.
Trying to clarify, okay.
So,
Yeah, I'm fine with-
That's separated, right?
So you're just going to appoint someone from the already committee to interview those 3 applicants?
We will all interview and we will.
I thought- Happy to
So
we
you
do
want
all
a
the
special
stuff.
meeting?
Because
Well, normally we have interviewed prior to. When we do.
Or, our most recent meeting, we did.
So, but in Kathy's email, she said that what she was recommending was that the mayor establishes a subcommittee of people that are already on the budget committee to do the hiring and then give us their 2 candidates
Oh,
to just decide.
we could do that. 'Cause they're
That was
appointed. Are they appointed or are they actually up for, is one up? And there's the timelines too.
I think they're both empty.
They're both empty right now. One was Mark's and one was Garrett's.
But he's not, his term's not over, and so we have the ability to appoint, right? Was your term over? Is it 3-year?
Is,
How many years are our budget committee members? That's my question. You see what my question is here?
But if he's on council, he has to release that
Yeah,
seat, right?
no, yeah, but if it was 3 years and he's already served 2, then you don't
You're
always.
saying, can we
fill out
fill
the
and
last-
appoint
We
someone for
can
the
just
last
appoint
year?
the last year and then let that,
they're both appointments.
yeah.
They're always appointments.
Yeah.
So the way normally that we would appoint somebody to fill a short term, like a remaining term,
Mhm.
would be, you would appoint the person who applied first to the full term,
Yes,
and then you would appoint the next person you want to the remaining term.
okay. And you're just saying use a subcommittee, just,
Yeah, according to resolution 1648, which has the guidelines for boards and commissions appointments.
Yeah.
You can create a subcommittee, 3 or 4 people, and then they would interview everybody and make a recommendation to the council.
Right.
And if we can do that in the next, I think it's 2 weeks, then we can get it into the packet for appointments on April 5th.
okay, and who on it? I can drag Counselor Gunderson because it's one of his spots, one counselor at least would be,
And Claire Cat would like to be appointed.
okay,
That's the only person that I've heard from.
okay.
if you have more than 2 counselors, then it's
Yeah.
a special meeting.
Yes, yeah, so this means.
And
Yeah. We're doing.
we're filling your spot.
Yeah, I know. We can even do it via phone or via communication with our cat, just to talk about interview the applicants. And then just talk about who we feel recommend. Yeah.
So you have 2 spots to fill,
3 of us would do the interviews.
Yeah, and then we'd recommend.
possibly more, depending on if anyone else gets back to Kathy, right?
I haven't gotten anybody, nobody else has gotten back to me, so. So which ones?
Well, maybe set a date and maybe throw it out again and see if another one wants to, but, yeah.
Yeah.
Mark and who?
myself.
Okay.
And
And Claire.
And is there a standard panel of questions?
no, just,
Everybody gets asked as well.
we can ask whatever questions we want as long as we're consistent. That's all we try to do is be consistent, with the same questions, so.
So Mark's term ends at the end of this year.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah. Okay, so we'll get that taken care of. I think I have Claire's number. She's just down the road from me. She's going to my house and we just walk down to her place and say, hey.
Do you want to set a date now?
I know we need to do it soon.
Yeah.
It would, I know I'm fairly flexible.
I have to, so.
Yeah, so
Okay.
really Claire, can you make a phone call to Claire and pass our numbers along to her?
Yeah.
And have her contact myself and Mark. She is the chair,
And it could be
She
via
is,
Zoom. if
and
that's what
actually
you're
she
saying.
is the chair, so. Yeah. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right, go ahead, John.
Yeah, just bounce around a little bit here at the end.
Sorry,
Yeah.
way over there, but I was thinking about it.
This is good. This
You
is,
do it to them all the time.
this is good. When we had the Central Waterfront Open House at the wastewater treatment plant, got a criticism today that it wasn't a public meeting on the agenda. Crystal did extensive outreach and engagement. It's not a public meeting. It's not a forum.
Considered a public. No, his argument, or his complaint was that we didn't advertise it at the last city council meeting on our agenda, that was.
He's talking about this list on the back, and I didn't put it on there because I don't often know about those kinds of things. I don't
It's not a
really,
public meeting, right?
it's not a public.
That's what
meeting.
his complaint was about.
Yeah. But we're going to have another one on April sixth, something that a month from now. It probably still won't be on that list, but it'll be extensively put across the community and all of our social outlets, media outlets, and
Well, and just clarification on the boat, talking amongst us is that he even knew it was in Pensacola. He had talked about it.
I have never once believed that it was here yet. I've always known that it's been.
No, that's
Never stated.
So I don't. know
Anything
why.
to make misdirection and just, it just amazes me.
yeah, the boat is been inspected. It's waiting for the Coast Guard to issue the contacted me about the boat because they want their final payment. And I said, well, I'm not gonna give you your final payment unless we get the certificates back and it's all
Of the
signed off.
inspection.
Yes, there you go, John.
And he said, totally get it, when it's ready, I'll let you know, and that's where we're at. And, at the last meeting, we talked about, for example, chamber tables,
Yes.
Yeah.
chamber of commerce dinner. This is a year where we also have the black tie and blue jeans in August,
We wanna do that.
and so just to be budget sensitive, we'll try to build that. I would imagine the council wants to go as one of the.
Yes.
That's next.
It is, you wanna go to it.
It is next budget. I'm talking about budget building it.
Into the budget. Bill, okay, sorry.
But you're not saying either or though, we can do both.
No, it's not an either or thing.
Yeah, do both. The black tie
Shakers.
zucchini event, it happens out up in Deer Island Stockbridge, it's been canceled for a couple of years, it's finally back. And it's,
Sounds like eventually senior center's gonna have their own black tie event. We're all gonna
yeah,
just be attending all these black tie events.
but this one goes,
Service.
this
Yeah.
one goes through our library, but it for scholarships.
Yeah.
The high school, so big deal.
April 25th and 26th. I know most of the council has day jobs, but the League of Oregon City Spring Conference is in Seaside. Interested in that? Figure out how to get anybody that wants to go there, but they're usually really good. The fall conference is the bigger conference, but there's still, several hundred elected folks that show up in
Sure.
education.
I wanna go to the fall one again. so.
Yeah.
Where is the fall one at this year? Well, some of these things, you're not here,
The spring mode, that's why they're focusing on their spring conference.
Even some bad, but I'm not. 100%.
Sure, it's been in Eugene though before, it's been in Portland before as well, so that's why I was asking.
Usually
Is
rotates between those three cities.
Yes,
following up from our joint meeting, on the sleep and lie ordinance, internally, we've got the information from the planning commission, we're looking at that. And internally kind of work with the attorney to come up with something. It's still, you know, we don't want to miss our deadline, so we're gonna keep on working on it. Okay.
I was gone for the end of that meeting, but I did go back and watch the video, because Jennifer Posley encouraged me to. So I got to see the end of it, but what is the direction that we've decided to take? Is that clarified for staff? Because I think,
What we were trying to get to.
I know.
Yeah, I think it evolves pretty heavily, but the general direction was on the pendulum of having sanctioned sleeping areas versus not having sanctioned sleeping areas. The council didn't want to have sanctioned sleep areas. And there's also some House bills right now that are addressing that state created danger liability that cities are really concerned about, that would give indemnity to cities that did create those things. So that's a new thing that may help some of that. On that, the last meeting I mentioned that Columbia View Theater approved that rendering. The consultants came out, staked out the stage in the theater, and it's already moved a couple times. And what you can't see is where the stage comes up. And they're working on it. I saw a preliminary rendering of what it's going to look like, but they're going to make it a little nicer. Is the elevation of the stage will come out, there'll be the dance, the step down about 30 inches onto the dance floor that comes back up, then creates at the edge of the dance floor, there's this 18-inch seat wall that comes up towards the existing amphitheater, comes back a ways and comes up. So there's 2 layers of seat wall that come up, have a grass strip, and then it ties back into the theater. And you stand at the top and look at it. It's I think it feels pretty good, but everybody can kind of judge for themselves. That should be coming ahead of schedule, so we'll have that sooner than later. I think we got it pretty close the first time when it came out. We got some pictures. And we'll share that rendering when it comes through. It was really rough when I saw it. But, Councilor Sandine and I have been working on public safety project for the a lot of conversation around the floodplain and what the elevation of the building should be, and kind of gone back internally working with the engineers and architects to make sure we really are sensitive to that issue. And I think we're taking a higher elevation to be extra sure. Making sure that we're up and out of the floodplain and floodway. It's kind of an anomaly of sorts because of the slope of the grade out there. The floodplain actually, it's a reverse of what your mind would think about it. It's not just a fill up the bathtub kind of scenario. It kind of fills up and then it drains off the grade in the model that we looked at. It's something we want to get right. We don't want to have the building flood.
You're right. I think that we're really addressing, but I think there was also the concern of egress in case the intersection.
Yeah, and there's that, and then there's the back road out. And we're looking at 2 to 3 feet above the floodplain. The base, just to make sure we're now. That's gonna be a little more.
And exploring something for the planning commission coming up soon too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll go through a
Moving that forward.
process.
Yeah. How do you feel you are on schedule with that? I mean, as far as, I know we had some momentum, then it, got squashed just because of.
I'm feeling it's.
Do you think, we held it up a little bit,
We
but.
held it up a little bit, but it looks good. It's
Good.
the elevations look great. I'm really pleased with the momentum. They're gonna be back doing all the redesign and engineering and things. Well, pretty pleased.
But all is not lost because they've interviewed and they kind of have an idea. It's,
There's very much of the work,
We
most of the
spent
work
quite a
is
bit on-
very reusable.
yeah,
Planning for it.
yeah.
So fireworks 2023, I think we've got that figured out. Right, Hendrickson, St. Helens Marina is offering his 15 by 50-foot barge.
Yeah.
There, he's gonna, went in and met with them yesterday for a good bit to kind of get all the logistics down. He has a little tug, so we don't have that issue with the tug and in and out, loading, transloading, on and off. That will happen on the port property again. I'll talk to the port about that, about that. And then doing a budget, last year we spent about 20,000 on fireworks, doing the same. I think it's pretty good. I think we're pretty full plan, so won't be a giant 150-foot barge, 20 feet from shore.
Total square inches. That is,
Yeah, I talked to the Western Display and they said that would work, so
yeah, all these.
I know he's been contacting the mayor as well.
Yeah.
So there'll be some contracts coming forth on that, something. And it's.
Okay.
I still don't have, I'm trying to remember what I have written on my screen that I printed off and still didn't. come out. For some reason.
Well, if you need to go back, we'll go back to
Okay,
that.
go back.
Yes, yes.
Those go backs have really changed.
Yeah, well, okay, do we want to take a moment to watch videos or not? Crystal, you highlighted 6 of them or just the beginning 6?
I highlighted each one of you voted for a different one, so it's at 5, plus you had a second choice.
Okay.
So it includes that one as well.
All right, let's go ahead and take a look at it before.
And he's got that.
It should only be 14 minutes.
We do have executive session today.
I wrote it.
You're probably watching right now. This one's mine.
Hi, my name is Sylvia Arsenault, and I'm the 12th grade and I go to St. Clemens High School. And I remain for the day, I will look into the love provided in our community and drug use. One thing I like to address drug use is a lot of the times we have some stuff for everybody that can people with kids or without kids, but places in town like the house involved running off is really only accepting with friends that have kids and not drug users just in general. So if somebody uses drugs in this rehab and they don't have kids in town, they really have a place to like house them. So we often have these people with all back into the drugs again, and we also do a fresh start. So I think that you should get some sort of facility for that. And we should also start fundraising resources we already have. We have the Alana Club, we can fundraise and put money into that. So we have people like go to NA meetings. That's really good for recovering drug addicts, recovering drug addicts. If we fundraise for a place like the Alana Club, they can put that money into making a nicer facility where more people are able to feel outcomes from all sorts of different places, like people that are rehabs or just alcoholics and so on. But like the other, I feel like that pretty hard. Recovering addicts once together in a nice environment, like that will definitely help our town's problem with drug use.
I'm Lily Watkins. I'm a senior at SHHS, and this is what I do if I were mayor. One of my favorite things about St. Helens is our sense of community that we have and all of the events that we hold. Many of our events can be enjoyed by people of all ages. However, there are not many that are geared towards just teenagers. Teenagers don't have a place to go after school or on weekends to hang out with their friends or even study.
That's fabulous.
This can lead to teenagers getting into bad habits or getting into trouble. For example, many teenagers are addicted to caffeine. Having Dubbo's being one of the only places they can go with their friends can make that addiction worse. One of the only places for teenagers to go with their friends is Walmart or Safeway. When they are at these places, they can cause severe disruption not only to the employees, but to the customers. They are also more likely to shoplift. Many teenagers also turn to partying, drugs, and alcohol as a form of entertainment. This is why I would build a community center for teens that they can go and hang out with their friends, study, and do activities. This community center would help keep teens out of trouble while also keeping them entertained. They could hold events like movie nights, game nights, and more. They could even get teens involved in community service. Ideally, it would be located within walking distance of the high school, so students could walk there after school. This teenage community center would be the first step in making teenagers better citizens.
Wait, there's more.
What happened?
down.
What happened?
I don't go back to John.
Used by making a teen community center for teenagers to hang out after school.
Hi, I'm Hayden Straya, and this is what I would do if I were the mayor of St. Helens. The first topic I would like to discuss is the need for more doctors in St. Helens. Columbia County has a low primary care physician and a county population ratio of 1 to 2910 according to Data USA. This is causing Columbia County residents to have difficulty in seeing physicians and is causing unnecessary hospital stays in other cities such as Portland. To improve the current conditions, making it easier to facilitate a physician opening a practice within the city can help people get to physicians more easily without the hassle of driving. If I were mayor, I would start a task force with council members to find solutions of enticing primary care physicians to come into the area and open a practice in St. Helens. My next topic is how to become a healthy St. Helens. According to Science Alert, only 2.7% of the population practices the majority of healthy lifestyle guidelines, one of these being getting sufficient exercise. Much of the population is more susceptible to illness and other health problems because they do not exercise enough. Providing access to parks and other outdoor areas can help people stay in shape and possibly improve their current living conditions. If I were mayor, I would start a fundraiser with the intent of cleaning our parks and making them ready for people who cannot exercise by other means. Third, let's discuss the illiteracy problem in Oregon. According to Cross River Therapy, 67% of fourth grade Oregonian students are not reading proficiently, and more than 10% of adults are illiterate. Children and adults alike who cannot read can have problems performing basic life skills such as reading, typing, and performing well in school. A good way to keep the population's literacy rate high is to reintroduce the summer reading program to the St. Helens Library to help kids from preschool through junior high. If I were mayor, I would encourage citizens to teach children how to read while they are still in their developmental years. Promoting the summer reading program to children can motivate much of St. Helens youth to continue reading while school is out. My fourth topic is helping the disabled and mentally ill. In Columbia County, 12.1% of the population under 65 is disabled, and 27% of adults in Oregon are mentally unstable, according to a U.S. Census. Having one or more of these conditions can restrict many people from doing work or performing simple tasks, and it can also prevent certain individuals from becoming independent. Possible solutions for caring for these people could be supporting them and their families and giving them assistance when performing tasks that are simply impossible for them to complete on their own. If I were mayor, I would bring these people into the spotlight and show others that they need help. I would also consider working with outside agencies to find ways to properly assist these people. Lastly, I want to talk about helping students graduate. According to publicschoolreview.com, St. Helens High School has a graduation rate of roughly 80 to 84%, which is lower than the state average of 84%. Roughly 7 out of 10 adults in state prisons did not receive a high school diploma. 3 of the leading causes of failing high school are poverty, dropout, and chronic absenteeism. If I were mayor, I would promote a healthy school environment where students can find themselves comfortable within the classroom and would improve their overall engagement. We can also help disadvantaged students by giving them mobile access to internet, give them a reason to attend classes, and ultimately make them well-rounded individuals who can help increase productivity within society.
27% of people are
And there are more states and students can create accidents. So if I were mayor, the first things I would change would be fixing some of those issues and look at it.
One of the big issues is right here, Portland, Columbia. I can see left because there's no car there, but on the right side, Cozy Corner allows people to park right in the front. And that creates this blockage where I can't see. My only option is to pull forward, but we all know if you've ever been on this intersection, anytime in the morning, old dudes like to take their sweet time. And you'll get in their way. So we gotta find a solution, and one of the solutions I can think of is maybe put a bike rack there, right there instead. Because in the morning, sometimes Fuji Corner will have semis parked there as well, and that makes it even worse. This is really dangerous and it can be prevented super easily, and if I were mayor, that would be one of the first things I would change.
See?
Right here, the bike. See? Great. All right, where for this? This isn't necessarily a blind spot related issue. I would say it's a dump drive related issue. So there's stop sign here, and there's a stop sign on that side. And there's no stop sign but we'll stop at this anyways. And this is a big issue, especially here in Halloween Town. Now, one of the things that we need to fix, what we can add to this intersection. Put a little sign down, this side. And on that side, it kind of explains that there's no stop and maybe a little bit more direction on how this intersection works. Even though it's not that hard.
Hello, I am Graham McCollum. I am here in the Plaza Square downtown. This is one of my favorite parts of my town, St. Helens, because it is a place full of memories of meeting with friends and going to events with people that I care about. It is a good venue for local events like 13 Nights on the River that happens every summer and the transformation into Halloween Town every fall.
Dear down the
The
day,
only issue with this area does not have any gender neutral bathrooms. This means that people who are uncomfortable using gendered bathrooms like transgender and non-binary people are less likely to visit the downtown area or stick around for any length of time. Even people who are uncomfortable going to the bathroom without more privacy will be less likely to stay in our lovely downtown for long because they do not have a place to comfortably take care of their basic needs. I know the city is already planning a waterfront redevelopment program that is supposed to help create a place to draw people back into the heart of the city and is supposed to showcase the past and future of the town. I think a good addition to this project would be adding gender neutral bathrooms so people will be more likely to stay longer and see the new downtown St. Helens. This can be part of the future part of their plan. Gender neutral bathrooms are something that many places like schools and parks have adopted already. So we need to be part of that trend and offer people options that will show we care and will make them want to come back. I do not estimate that it will cost more than $50,000 to create gender neutral bathrooms in our downtown area. Since the current plan is to renovate the entire downtown area, it seems like adding a plan for gender neutral bathrooms would be easy. The plus of this is that if they started moving forward with construction of the bathroom, along with their plan for renovating the waterfront, they should be able to have it done with the rest of the project in late 2024. That timeline would allow citizens and visitors to start enjoying more freedom and comfortability as soon as possible.
Hi, I'm Josh.
And I'm Andrew.
We're from St. Helens High School. If we were mayor, we would fix the potholes and pave the roads in our town. Specifically, this road called Furlock Road behind our high school.
So Josh here is going to be driving over Burlock Park here, just to showcase just how terrible the potholes are. As you can see, coming out of that parking lot, the truck's bouncing a lot. Really could do a lot of damage to his wheels, and rims, and shocks, and possibly in his bumper as well. But potholes in general, they're not even that expensive to fix. It could cost between $35 and $50 per individual pothole. Plus maybe an additional mobilization cost of like $150 to get a team in. But just some facts about potholes here. They can cause an average of over $300 per vehicle per year, and over $1,000 in the lifetime of a single vehicle. look at that, how much the truck bounces with each pothole. How close it gets to the ground. It's crazy that there's that much of a difference, and these potholes aren't even just a risk factor for vehicles. They could also cause injuries to pedestrians, just walking along the street and twisting their ankle and falling because of a pothole. Because there's no sidewalks on this road here that we're using as an example, or even cyclists, like motorcycles or bicycles, like they only have 2 wheels. So hitting one of those potholes could easily cause them to flip and crash, which can be fatal.
Okay, so.
Welcome once again to the city of your fabulous.
All right, well, we're gonna go ahead and adjourn, but we're gonna go into executive session as previously announced after this. Under ORS 1926602E, real property transaction and H consulting with counsel potential litigation. So with that,